video is going to be a reading vlog of Wuthering Heights. I have never read this book. I've never seen any TV adaptations of it. The only thing I know about Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte is the Kate Bush song. That's it. It's me, Kathy. And I don't even know that song very well, so I have no idea what this book's going to be about. I'm going to predict that it's going to be a love story. I know it's set on the moors, so I'm going in completely blind. So I'm going to start this. I have made one tab so far, and that's I just saw that it had a family table, so I thought that would probably be useful, and that's why they put it in there. So how everyone is related to everyone. So I thought if I get like lost in the story, then I can always go back to this tab. So I'm excited to get into this. I really want to see the new film. That's why I'm going to read this first. And I've always wanted to read Wuthering Heights. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm on page 65 and I don't think it's going to be a romance. I think it's going to be a horror. Mr. Lockwood arrives and he needs to go to his landlord's house, which his landlord lives at a house called Wuthering Heights, which I never knew that was the name of the house, Wuthering Heights. And so he goes there and his landlord is this man called Heathcliff. And Heathcliff is like broody and very moody and snappy. And then there's just loads of dogs. And our first introduction to Heathcliff, he kicks the dog. So there's a dog who's just had a load of puppies and she's kind of snarling at Mr. Lockwood. And then Heathcliff gives the dog a kick-like punch. But then Mr. Lockwood winds up the dogs to a point where they're about to attack him. And then he starts attacking them back with a fire poker. He then goes to where he's staying, which is the Grange, which that is owned by Heathcliff, and that's what he's renting from Heathcliff. Then he turns up and there's a snowstorm, and everyone's like, why did you come out in a snowstorm? Why would you come to Wuthering Heights when you know you have to cross the moor to get back to the Grange when it's a snowstorm? And I kind of was on everyone's side. Like, I think you're supposed to feel really sorry for Mr. Lockwood. Like, oh, he's saying, it's a snowstorm, guys. I can't go back to the Grange. I'm going to have to spend the night in your house. And they're like, well, we don't have visitors. So, like, just go out in the snow and die. But I'm kind of with the characters that are like, did you not know it was snowing? How did you not know you were going to get trapped in the snow? What's happening? So living in Wuthering Heights, everyone's miserable. So Heathcliff, miserable. He then has his daughter-in-law living with him. His son is dead. His daughter-in-law, miserable. He then has his, I think, nephew and then this manservant, Joseph. Everyone's in misery. That's just all you need to know. Everyone's miserable. And so Mr. Lockwood just can't wait to leave, but he has to spend the night there because there's a snowstorm. He then gets haunted by a ghost who's screaming, let me in. Then Mr. Lockwood goes back to the Grange and he talks to his housemaid, Miss Dean, and says, have you been with like Heathcliff long? Can you tell me something about him? And she just sits down and tells everyone's life story. She's the narrator, so she goes, oh, let me get my needlework. She goes out, gets her needlework, makes herself comfortable and starts sharing everyone's secrets, saying, oh, Heathcliff, okay. So the man of the house, Mr. Earnshaw, he one day came back with a boy, and that was Heathcliff, and then just decided to raise that boy as his own, so no one knows where Heathcliff came from. The man also had a son called Henley and a daughter called Catherine, aka Kathy. And then the old man dies, the mother's already died, and so the house then goes to the eldest son, Henley. And Henley has always resented Heathcliff, that he's not blood, and that he just turned up and became his father's favourite. So he makes him like a worker, an outside worker of the house, and doesn't let him really share in Wuthering Heights. Then Kathy and Heathcliff become very close. And Henley is an abusive beast to both of them, so that drives them closer. And each day they're supposed to be working, but they go out to the fields and they frolic around together. Then one day they go to the Grange, and at the Grange there's the Lintons are in there, and they're a really nice family. And so Catherine, when they're trying to get away, because they were spying on the Lintons, a dog gets her, and the Lintons say, oh my God, like come in. And she ends up staying with them for 5 weeks. And it doesn't really say why, but when she was caught by the dog, she was kind of this wild child, frolicking with Heathcliff every day, living this kind of happy, wild life with him. And now she is a lady. So she's very like clean and classy and ladylike, and Henley much prefers his sister this way. And so she goes back to Wuthering Heights. Henley's wife dies after childbirth, and Henley becomes even worse than he was before. He was always a bully, but it becomes a lot worse. And then Heathcliff asks Nellie, who Nellie is Miss Dean, who's telling us the story, and she's saying, I was there for it all. Can you kind of make me look better, because I'm kind of this wild creature, and Kathy's come back and she's no longer wild. Can you make me more appealing to her? So she does, but there's Edgar Linton, who's obviously got Kathy's eye. He wants to be with Kathy, but then Heathcliff wants to be with Kathy, but he's very wild. Beauty and the Beast, can we say that? Beauty and the Beast vibes? Like, Heathcliff isn't keeping her, but like, he's kind of a beast. You know when Belle's falling in love with the beast? Like that kind of vibe. Kathy's like, oh, you're so unclean, which she was only 5 weeks ago, so I don't know why she's forgetting. But anyway, she's like, oh, you're so unclean and this and that. And then Nellie's kind of brushing him up and making him more appealing to Kathy, because obviously he wants to be with Kathy, even though they're siblings. Like, because they've been raised as siblings. They're obviously not blood relation, but they were raised brother and sister. We are just making some 2-ingredient bread. It's just self-raising flour and milk. This is my biscuit bread. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's a really wet mixture, but it's more like biscuit than bread. Here it is. I think it looks pretty good. So it was self-raising flour, a bit of milk, and oh, it's like soft, water, because I didn't have any yeast. So I just wanted like a bread to go with my soup. This is the moment of truth. Oh, it's very soft. I can sense it's soft. Oh, it's like a kind of biscuity bread. I just tried a bit and it is so good. I didn't follow a recipe. I kind of improvised. So I don't really know how I'm going to make this again because I don't know how much of everything I used. But it's actually really good. My boys have both taken a nap, so I have some leek soup. I have the bread that I just made, which I'm actually in shock that it came out like so nice, just using basically water and self-raising flour. So I'm gonna have the bread with my soup and read some more of Wuthering Heights. I have nearly finished Wuthering Heights. Can you see I just have this bit left to read of the novel? So not much at all. I'm on page 279 and the book has 337 pages in it, so nearly finished. Everyone's like hateful, like I hate everyone, to be perfectly honest with you. Nellie I find very unreliable as the narrator. So we have the man from the Grange, Mr. Lockwood, and Nellie is telling him everything. Nellie is Miss Dean, but in the old days everyone called her by her first name, Nellie. Now everyone calls her Miss Dean, but it's the same person. And she's telling Mr. Lockwood all about Heathcliff and his history and what went on with him and Catherine. There's a lot of like women dying in childbirth, so then their stories are done, and then it goes on to their children's storylines. So Heathcliff and Isabella had a son together. Isabella died. Catherine and Edgar had a son together. Catherine's dead. So you have those two children left now. One's called Linton, the boy, and the girl is called Catherine. Very confusing because her mother was, of course, Kathy. But then they're now going to get together, and it's all by Heathcliff's design. So Heathcliff wants Kathy's daughter to fall in love with his son. It's incest. They're cousins. It's incest. It's all really to punish Edgar. That's the whole point of it, is to punish and ruin everyone. And at the beginning, you kind of do feel a sympathy for Heathcliff. He's described as a gypsy. He has very dark features. People are very prejudiced to him. But he has been raised in this luxurious kind of life, and a much better life than he would have if he'd been left on the streets. And the father did really love him. But when the father died, everyone was a bit spiteful to Heathcliff. And Nellie talks about all three kids, Henley, Catherine and Heathcliff got measles when they were kids, and Heathcliff was the only nice one. The other two were really bratty. And then the Lintons, they're kind of bratty as well, aren't they? Like Edgar and Isabella. But you kind of feel like Heathcliff's quite nice at the beginning, and now he just wants to destroy everyone's life. So any sympathy you would have had for Heathcliff is just gone. And I quite liked Heathcliff, that everyone was very like mean to him as a kid because he wasn't like a biological relative, whatever. And then he says to the bit when he says, my horse is lame. You're going to have to give me your horse because my horse is lame. And the boy's like, no, I'm not giving you my horse. And he says, okay, well, I'll just tell everyone everything that you say about me, how you abuse me, and your dad will beat you up. So give me your horse. And he gets the horse. So you think he's this kind of defenseless, poor child. But then you realise that he's keeping note. He's kind of manipulating it to his advantage, which I liked 100% because they were mean to him. So I was on his side. I was rooting for him. And then no. And also Nellie, I feel, is kind of the villain of the piece, because there's a bit in it where she knows Heathcliff is sitting like near her and Catherine doesn't, and Catherine comes up to her and says, I have something to confess, something I want to need to tell you. And she knows it's about Heathcliff and that he's listening in, but she doesn't tell Catherine. So then Catherine says, I could never marry Heathcliff because he's below my station, we'd be penniless together. And then Heathcliff disappears for like, I don't know if it's 3 weeks or 3 months. He just goes because he's heard that. And she doesn't say, oh, the reason he went is because he overheard. Everyone's miserable. Everyone in Wuthering Heights, like, it's just the most miserable place where people come and have their lives destroyed. That's really what Wuthering Heights is. It's like the house almost has its own like soul that it's destroying everyone who steps foot into it. Heathcliff told us he was going to do that. So Heathcliff told Nellie everything he was going to do. So then that's like, you know what's coming up. It'd been better if that bit hadn't been in it and we weren't pre-warned, because we know the hurtling disaster we're travelling towards because he'd already told Nellie. And I don't trust Nellie as far as I can throw her, to be honest with you. She's narrating it to us, but like, as I said, like, Heathcliff overheard what Kathy said about him and he went off. And so she, in the meantime, married Edgar. And then when Heathcliff comes back, Nellie doesn't say, oh, you know why Heathcliff ran away? Because you said that. You know why he's gone? It's because you said that. Like, she's stirring little pots. She also has such an attitude towards everyone as well. Everyone hates each other. That's really the story. Everyone hates each other. Everyone was prejudiced towards Heathcliff and now he's out for his revenge. I am enjoying it. It's not a love story in any kind of way. It's about like possession, revenge, that all stemmed from prejudice, and he had a right to feel that way. But when it just goes so far that you're destroying yourself in the process of getting some kind of revenge. Interesting, very interesting idea within that as well, that someone can do something, that life isn't like black and white, that, well, you did something bad to me, so I'm going to do something bad to you. Like, some people tip the scales too much and they're like, I'm going to destroy your children now because you did something bad to me. And that this kind of evil can take over you, this need for revenge because your life didn't turn out how you wanted it to. I'm really enjoying it. Haven't finished it. Don't know. Nellie's being kept a prisoner in Wuthering Heights now, so I don't know how this is going. I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit of horror, maybe. A little horror, a little haunting, a little something. One more point. It is actually like an anti-love story. Like, this all stemmed from Heathcliff loving Kathy, and now everyone's lives going to be destroyed because of it. Like, don't fall in love or it will ruin not only you, but your whole family lineage, your children's lives. And it's an anti-love story. I have finished Wuthering Heights. Everyone's a villain. Heathcliff ends up destroying himself for his vengeance. Everyone's just miserable. I did enjoy the book. I feel like there are so many different topics you can talk about from the book. That you can talk about the racism, you can talk about the classism, you can talk about revenge. What is enough revenge? What happens when someone can't get enough revenge? About obsession that isn't real love, but people think it's real love. When he opened up the coffin, don't. So Edgar, when he gets buried in with his wife Catherine, and then Heathcliff says to the person who's doing it, like, I want to see what Catherine looks like, even though it's years have passed, so he wants to see her corpse. And then he says her corpse is like untouched. It's like the day it went into the ground. It's exactly the same. It's just peering at her corpse. Wow, I loved those like horror little elements within it, like the peering into the corpse, Mr. Lockwood at the beginning when he hears a haunting, and then at the end when they say Kathy and Heathcliff, who are now both dead, can be seen roaming the moors. I am really glad that I did read Wuthering Heights. I did really enjoy reading it. So tell me if you have read it, and feel free to subscribe, stick around the channel. I have so many videos, so many reading vlogs, so many book reviews. Tell me what classic I should read next, because I've read like Dracula, Frankenstein, old classic horrors. I've read a lot of hauntings, those kind of books. So give me some more of them, because I really love them, like Turn of the Screw, Jekyll and Hyde, like those kind of stories. I absolutely love classics that are that kind of haunting, horror, sci-fi feel, that kind of thing. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon for another video.